I overheard my fiancée whisper her ex's name on the phone. Then I learned their weekly secret. I'm Alex Moreno. I'm 29 years old, born and raised in Asheville, North Carolina. And for most of my life, I thought I had it all figured out. The job, the house, and most importantly, the girl. Madeline Reyes, or Maddie, as everyone called her, wasn't just my fiancée, the one I thought I'd grow old with. The woman I believed I'd raise kids with. The one I dreamed about building a quiet life with Sunday pancakes, movie nights, PTA meetings, everything. But let me take you back, because Maddie and I weren't some whirlwind Tinder match or last-minute college fling. No, our story started way earlier. We met when we were 5. We grew up right across the street from each other. Her parents and mine had moved into the same cul-de-sac within weeks of each other. They hit it off immediately, barbecues every summer, driveway potlucks, joint holiday parties. Maddie and I were raised side by side. We rode the same school bus, shared the same teachers, walked the same sidewalks home every day. I finally asked her out the night of our high school graduation. We'd just gotten home from the after-party. We were sitting on her parents' porch. It was 2 a.m. I looked at her and just said, "So, do we stop pretending we're just friends now?" She smiled, took my hand, and said, "Took you long enough." From that moment on, it was us. We went to different colleges here in Georgia, me in North Carolina, but stayed together. Long distance wasn't easy, but we made it work. Late-night FaceTimes, surprise weekend visits, handwritten letters in care packages. We did it all. She dated one guy seriously before me, Shane, a college guy who cheated on her with some girl from his psych class. I remember the night she called me sobbing. I drove 4 hours just to sit with her. She said she'd never trust someone like that again. Years passed, and after both moved back to Asheville, we picked up like no time had passed. The connection was still there. Stronger even. At 26, I proposed. On the beach in Charleston, I had a photographer secretly capture the moment. She said yes through tears, covering her face and nodding before she even let me finish the words. I thought it was the happiest moment of my life. Our families were thrilled. Our moms cried together. Her dad gave me the biggest hug and said, "You were always going to be part of this family." Everything felt perfect, or almost perfect. Because, now looking back, there were cracks I didn't want to see. We were engaged for 3 years. Some people asked why we didn't just tie the knot quickly, since we already knew everything about each other. But for Maddie and me, it wasn't about speed. It was about perfect timing. We wanted the ceremony, the venue, the guest list, the flowers to all feel just right. We said we were building the foundation for forever, so what was the rush? At least, that's what I told myself. Though we lived together, sometimes we lived at our parents' homes, her with her parents, me with mine. Our childhood bedrooms were just across the street from one another. It wasn't inconvenient. It felt nostalgic in a way, like the whole town was rooting for us. Every day felt like a step closer to the altar. We'd meet after work, cook together in her kitchen or mine, watch home renovation shows and argue about tile styles for the kitchen of our future home. She wanted marble. I was team granite. She wanted 3 kids, maybe 4. I said, let's try 1 and see if we survive sleep deprivation first. It felt real, fun, familiar, safe. But over time, small things began to shift. It started subtly. Little moments that didn't feel quite right. She used to answer my texts in seconds. But now sometimes hours would pass. When I asked what she was doing, she'd say, "Oh, I was just in the shower," or "Phone died." "Okay, sure. Nothing major." Then she started taking solo walks more often, sometimes at night. She said it helped her clear her head. Maddie had always been an overthinker, so I didn't question it, but sometimes she'd come back home looking different, distracted, like her body was back in the house, but her mind was still somewhere else. The week we finalized our wedding menu, I remember her going quiet during the tasting. She just sat there, staring at her water glass, barely touching the appetizers. I asked, "What's up?" She smiled and said, "Just overwhelmed. So many decisions. I want it to be perfect." I believed her, because at that point I wanted to believe her. But there was one night I'll never forget. We were watching TV on the couch, some dumb reality dating show we always made fun of. One of the contestants was debating between two women. Maddie rolled her eyes and said, "Why is it always the toxic ones they can't let go of?" I joked, "Probably the same reason you dated Shane." She didn't laugh. She just paused, looked away, then mumbled, "People don't always get closure, you know." I remember that line so clearly. At the time I brushed it off. I thought, maybe she's just reflecting on old pain. That's human. But in hindsight, that was the first real crack in the illusion. Around that same time, I noticed she started turning her phone screen down more often, locking it when I walked into the room, changing her password, saying she needed space sometimes and wanted to have a night to herself. She'd never asked for that before. I told myself not to be that guy, the paranoid guy, the jealous guy. I didn't want to be controlling. I trusted her. But something deep down inside me, something I now wish I'd listened to, was starting to whisper, something isn't right. You know how people say they remember the exact moment their world fell apart? I do. It was a Friday. I left the house around 2 p.m. to run some errands. I was in a good mood. I remember humming in the car. I had just confirmed the wedding DJ and picked up a his and hers cake sample from the bakery Maddie loved. I was thinking about proposing a weekend getaway, just me and her, to unwind before wedding madness kicked into high gear. It was supposed to be a good day. But around 4:30 I realized I left my wallet at home. No ID, no card, no cash. Annoyed, I made a quick U-turn and headed back to the house. Just a 10-minute detour. And that's where everything changed. I pulled into the driveway and noticed her car was already there. Weird. Maddie had told me she was working late, some planning session at the design firm she freelanced with. She even said she might be home after me. So why was she home now? I figured maybe her meeting got canceled. No big deal. But then I noticed the blinds in my bedroom were closed, tightly shut, even though she loved letting natural light in. That's when some instinct I didn't even know I had, kicked in. I got out of the car slowly, quietly. I didn't slam the door. I unlocked the front door and stepped inside, soft as a shadow. And then I heard her voice. She was upstairs, in my bedroom. She didn't know I was home. She was on the phone. At first, I thought she was talking to her mom. Her tone was low, careful, but then I caught the shift in her voice, the softness, the way she dragged out the syllables like they meant something. And then I heard it. His name. Shane. Stop. You're gonna make me cry again. Everything in me went still, like time just stopped, like my body froze but my brain went into overdrive. Shane. Her ex. The same Shane she told me had cheated on her in college. The guy she said ruined her ability to trust. The guy she swore was out of her life for good. I moved a little closer to the stairs, heart pounding like a war drum in my chest. I wasn't trying to spy. I didn't want to hear more. But I had to, because somewhere deep down, I already knew. And then she said this. You've always been the one. You know that, right? I never stopped loving you. This thing with Alex, it's just, I don't know. It's not the same. This thing with Alex, this thing, like our entire relationship was just a filler, a placeholder, something to pass the time until he decided he wanted her back. I wanted to scream, but I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe. I felt like I was floating above myself, watching this all play out like a nightmare I couldn't wake up from. She kept talking. No, he doesn't suspect anything. I promise. He still thinks we're planning this wedding like everything's fine. I know it's wrong, but I can't help it. I'll leave him. Just say the word. That's when I turned around and walked out of the house, slowly, silently, like if I moved too fast, I'd break. I got in my car, pulled away, and parked 2 blocks over. Just sat there, staring at nothing. I didn't cry, I didn't scream, I didn't punch the steering wheel. I just sat, numb, paralyzed. Because how do you process the fact that the woman you've loved since you were a kid, who grew up with you, laughed with you, promised forever to you, is actively planning to leave you for someone who tossed her away like garbage years ago? I wasn't just angry. I wasn't just heartbroken. I was humiliated. I was in second place. A footnote in a love story that didn't even belong to me. Eventually, I went back home. She was in the kitchen when I walked in, humming to herself. Like nothing happened. Like she hadn't just gutted me with her words. I didn't confront her. Not yet. I just looked at her and said, I think I might be coming down with something. I'm gonna sleep in the guest room tonight. She turned around, brows furrowed, full of faux concern. "Aw, babe, you okay? Want me to make you tea?" "Tea? You just told another man you'd leave me. You just confessed that I'm nothing but a placeholder in your life, and now you want to cuddle?" I said no. She lingered, trying to kiss my cheek. I turned my face away. That was the first time I'd ever physically flinched from her. And she noticed. Her eyes darted, her smile faltered, but she said nothing. She went back to her place for the night, said she didn't want to get sick. I watched her walk out the door, and I remember thinking, I don't know who you are anymore. That night, I lay on the guest bed, staring at the ceiling. My whole world was suddenly fake. Every picture on the wall, every wedding plan in the notebook, every memory that used to make me smile now felt like poison. I didn't know how I was going to face her, but I knew I needed to hear the truth, straight from her mouth, because I was done living in the dark. Next morning was different. I hadn't slept. My eyes burned. My mind was spinning in circles all night, chasing thoughts that wouldn't settle. Was I crazy? Had I misunderstood? Was there any other explanation? A tiny part of me, the part still in love with her, hoped I was wrong. Hoped it was all a massive misunderstanding. That maybe, somehow she was just venting to a friend, rehearsing a script, joking, anything. But my gut knew, and now I needed to hear it from her. Around 10 a.m. she came back. She walked in with grocery bags, comfort food, soup, orange juice, the kind of stuff you buy when someone's sick. She smiled like nothing was wrong. "Hey, baby, I got your favorite soup. You feeling any better?" I looked at her and didn't say a word. Just watched her. She kept unpacking like we were just a normal couple in a normal kitchen, like the air wasn't thick with lies. Then I said it, quiet, cold. "Who were you talking to yesterday?" She froze mid-reach for a can of ginger ale, didn't turn around, didn't speak. "I came home early," I continued. "I heard you on the phone, in my room." Now she turned, slowly, her face drained of color, eyes wide, breathing shallow. "Alex, let me explain." "Don't." I cut her off. "Don't insult me with explanations. Just tell me the truth. Right now." There was silence, and then she cracked. Her eyes welled up instantly, and she started sobbing. Not just crying, ugly, full-body sobbing. The kind of crying that makes your knees give out. She collapsed onto the floor, right there in the kitchen. "I didn't mean for it to happen. I swear, I didn't plan it." I stood over her completely still, my fists clenched at my sides, every muscle in my body screaming to scream, but I held it in. "Are you sleeping with him?" She didn't answer. I asked again, louder. "Are you sleeping with him?" She nodded. That was it. A single, shameful nod, and my heart detonated. She tried crawling toward me, still sobbing, grabbing at my pant leg. "It was just once a week. I didn't want to. He reached out months ago and I didn't know how to." "Stop!" "Once a week. I repeated, stunned. "You've been cheating on me. Every single week while planning our wedding," she screamed through tears. "I didn't mean for it to go this far. I thought I could end it. I love you, Alex, I do." "No," I said, voice shaking with rage. "You love him. You always have." She begged me to sit, to talk, to let her explain, to forgive. But I couldn't even look at her. My whole body was trembling, my vision blurry, like I was having an out-of-body experience, like I was watching this nightmare happen to someone else. I walked to the front door, opened it wide. "Get out." She looked at me, stunned. "Wait, please, Alex, I don't have my shoes, my bag." I said, "Get out." I grabbed everything, her purse, her makeup bag, her laptop, her jacket, and threw them out onto the porch. She screamed and tried to block me, but I pushed her aside, not hard, but enough to make her stumble. She started wailing louder, yelling, "Please, don't. Do this, please." Neighbors began peeking out their windows, and that's when someone called the cops. 2 officers showed up within minutes. They saw me standing in the doorway and her on the ground, crying. Immediately, one of them stepped between us. "Sir, what's going on here?" I told them everything. I was calm, shaking, but clear. "She's been cheating on me." She admitted it. "She no longer lives here. I need her off my property." They asked if I'd laid a hand on her. I looked at her. She didn't say anything. She didn't lie. Maybe her guilt stopped her. Maybe the shame finally caught up. She nodded to the cops, whispering, "No, he didn't touch me." They helped her up, told her to collect her things, gave her 10 minutes to leave peacefully. She glared at me through tears as she picked up her things, and for a brief second, I saw something in her eyes I didn't expect. Not anger, not sadness, humiliation. She left. The door shut, and I collapsed against it, finally crying for the first time, because the woman I thought I was going to spend forever with had been sleeping with another man while helping me choose wedding songs. They say when your heart breaks, it's quiet, but when your reputation breaks, it's loud, and you can't control where the pieces land. After the confrontation, after I threw Maddie out and the cops left, I locked the doors and just stood there staring into the silence of my once happy home. It didn't feel like mine anymore. Every room felt haunted. Every photo was a lie. The scent of her perfume still hung in the hallway like a ghost I couldn't exorcise. I didn't eat. I didn't sleep. I didn't answer texts. For 48 hours I was a zombie. Then, on the 3rd day, there was a knock. I opened the door and immediately wished I hadn't. It was her father, a man I'd known since childhood, a man who used to ruffle my hair when I was 10, a man who once called me the son he never had. Now, his eyes were burning with anger. Before I could even say a word, he lunged, pushing me backwards into the wall. "What the H did you do to my daughter?" I staggered, catching myself, stunned. "What are you talking about?" He was shaking with fury, spit flying from his lips. "You put your hands on her? You're lucky I'm a religious man." My mind went blank. "What? I never laid a hand on her. Ask the police. Ask your daughter." He didn't want facts. He didn't want truth. He wanted a target. And unfortunately, I was it. I stepped forward, trying to stay calm. "You seriously believe I would ever hurt her?" He screamed in my face, "You're a coward, a little man who couldn't handle rejection." And then he did something I'll never forget. He stormed out the front door, walked straight to my car, and keyed the entire side, from front bumper to rear, leaving a long, deep scar across the paint, like he was carving his rage into my life. I stood there, watching it happen, fists clenched. Neighbors were outside now, some watching, some filming. No one stepped in. My name, my dignity, my entire reputation was being destroyed in real time. I called out, "You're gonna regret this. Your daughter lied to you. She's the cheater." He turned around and spat at my feet. "You're lucky I'm a reasonable man." And then he drove off. I stood in the driveway next to my ruined car, shaking, adrenaline coursing through me. And for the first time in this whole nightmare, I was scared. Not of him. of what would happen next because it wasn't over. The next morning, it was all over social media. Maddie posted a vague, manipulative update. Healing from a bad relationship. Thank you to everyone who's supporting me during this heartbreaking time. I'll share more when I'm ready. Just know that I've been through a lot. Within hours, the comments poured in. Her friends, her family, even mutual friends we'd grown up with. We always knew something was off about him. You're so strong for walking away. If he touched you, I hope he rots. I was being painted as the bad guy, while the truth, that she'd been cheating for months, was left out of the story. That night, I got texts from mutual friends. Some were supportive, but others turned their backs on me without asking a single question. One text hit the hardest. Man, if what she's saying is true, you're never my friend. I felt like I was screaming underwater. No one could hear me. No one wanted to. So I made a decision. I opened my laptop, and I told my side of the story. Detailed, backed with dates, screenshots, timelines. I included the fact that she admitted to sleeping with Shane, that the police had to intervene, that I never touched her, that I never raised a hand even when she confessed. If anyone still wants to believe her after this, go ahead. But I refuse to let her rewrite the story and ruin my name. I'm not perfect, but I'm not what she's painting me to be. I hit publish and let the firestorm begin. Within an hour, it went viral in our town. Within a day, her lie started to crack. People started asking questions, screenshots were shared. One of her close friends, someone I'd known since high school, messaged me. I believe you. She's been lying to all of us. But the damage was done. Even if the truth came out, I couldn't stay here. Every street reminded me of her. Every face reminded me of betrayal. So I made the final decision. I put the house up for sale. I packed everything into boxes, and I left the town I grew up in. It's been a little over a year since I packed up my life and walked away from that town, from that house, from her, and you'd think time would dull the pain. But betrayal leaves a mark. One you don't forget. The sleepless nights. The shame. But you know what else time brings? Clarity and karma. I've moved to a new city, started over. New job, new apartment, new peace. And believe it or not, I met someone. Someone kind. Honest. Someone who knows everything about what happened and still looks at me like I'm worth loving. She's everything, Maddie wasn't. But here's the part you came for. What happened to Maddie? What happened after? She burned our relationship to the ground and tried to paint me as the bad guy? Let me tell you, about 6 months after I left, I started hearing things, whispers from back home. Mutual friends reaching out with updates I never asked for, but definitely didn't mind hearing. Apparently, Shane ghosted her. Yup. The love of her life, the guy she betrayed me for, the guy she threw our entire future away for. As soon as she was out in the open, single, available, no more sneaking around, he cut her off, blocked her, disappeared, just like that. Turns out he never wanted her back. She was just a convenient side piece for him, a once-a-week fun time with no strings attached. And the moment she made herself fully available, he vanished, because he never respected her, and she threw away someone who did. Word spread fast. Her parents eventually learned the real story. Not from her, from people in the neighborhood, from the screenshots I posted, from the friends who had seen through her lies. Her father? He never apologized to me, but apparently he went silent after the truth came out. Ashamed, embarrassed, maybe even realizing that the good guy he made out to be the bad guy was the one his daughter destroyed. Maddie couldn't face them. Couldn't face anyone. She was no longer the victim, no longer the heartbroken fiancée. She was exposed, and from what I heard, she packed up and left the state. Ran from the humiliation. Moved somewhere new where no one knew what she did. But here's what no one tells you about running from your past. Your guilt follows. And I know for a fact, she sees me living well now. My life is public. My joy is real. I post pictures with my girlfriend, laughing, traveling, healing, and I know Maddie watches. I see her pop up in my profile views. I see the anonymous likes on my stories. She's still watching. So here's what I'll say. To anyone who's ever been betrayed, lied to, discarded like they were nothing, don't chase revenge. Let it come to you. Live your truth. Stand in your integrity, because eventually, the people who broke you will have to sit with what they did. Alone. The final twist, a letter from Maddie. But life doesn't let you go that easily. One day, about 6 months ago, I got an unexpected letter. It was from Maddie. I stared at the envelope for a long time. My hands shook, but I opened it anyway. Her handwriting was the same. The letter was brief. Alex, I'm so sorry for everything. I don't know how to begin explaining what I did. I was selfish and I was broken. I never wanted to hurt you, but I did. I wish I could take back all the pain I caused. I've hurt everyone, including myself. I hope you're okay. I really do. It was a simple apology. Too simple. And in a way, it felt too late. Like she had written it out of obligation. A final act of guilt, not growth. I didn't write back. I didn't need to, because the truth was, her apology wasn't for me anymore. It was for her. One day, Sophie and I were planning a weekend getaway when the final twist came. One morning, just as I was getting ready to leave the apartment for work, I saw a familiar face standing outside. Maddie. She was standing by my door, holding a small envelope. For a moment, I just stood there, frozen, staring at her. I didn't know whether to be angry, to feel pity, or just to walk away. But the truth was, this wasn't about me anymore. It was about her decisions, her actions, her last shot at trying to redeem herself. When I opened the door, she looked different. The same face, but hollow. There was no bravado, no defensiveness, just exhaustion. She handed me the envelope. I wanted to give this to you. In person, she said, almost a whisper. I didn't open it right away. I just stared at her. This woman who had shattered my world, who had thrown everything away. What is it? She wiped her eyes, glancing up, her voice trembling. It's the truth. Everything I never said. I took the envelope. Inside was another letter. But this time it wasn't just a simple apology. It was a confession. Alex, I don't deserve your forgiveness, but I can't live with myself anymore without telling you everything. Shane didn't just use me. I used him too. I wanted to feel loved, wanted something I couldn't get from you. I thought I was in control, but I was just running from the truth. I left because I couldn't face anyone, including myself. But most of all, I left because I never truly loved you. I was in love with the idea of us, not you. And I will always regret it. I felt the words hit me like bricks, one by one. It wasn't just an apology. It was a final admission of guilt. She hadn't just betrayed me physically. She had betrayed everything I thought we were. And this wasn't the closure I expected. This was the truth I never got. I folded the letter slowly, my heart heavy with the weight of her words. I finally looked at her. Really looked at her. Maddie, I don't hate you. But I don't think I can ever forgive you. Not the way you want. What you did, it broke something in me, and I can't pretend it didn't. She nodded, tears streaming down her face. I understand. I had to say it, and I needed to see you one last time. With that she turned and walked away. If you've ever been betrayed, if you've ever felt like you were less than because of someone else's actions, drop A in the comments to show your strength. Like if you believe that you can recover from the hardest moments of your life. Subscribe for more real-life stories, because life doesn't stop teaching us lessons, and you'll want to be here for the next chapter. And if you know someone who's struggling to move on, share this video. You never know who needs to hear this today.